If you make music, you probably have asked yourself this kind of question before. Am I doing enough? Am I making enough content? Am I making enough music? Am I releasing often enough? And generally speaking, the answer is do at least 3 times, if not 10 times as much as you think you should. You think you're doing enough, and that's what everybody thinks. Your average person all thinks that they are doing enough and that I made a song this year. That should be enough. I made a music video this year. That should be enough. And that keeps you at the same level with everybody else. Because if everybody all thinks that they're doing enough, then there's going to be that one exception to that rule who's really going for it on a different level than you are. And that's the person who's going to be successful because everybody else is kind of at more of a middle ground, a hobby level, where this is where the hobby level person is, or the person who releases infrequently, inconsistently. And then there's somebody else who does it pretty consistently. And then there's the other person who's just really the go getter, the person who's really, going for this at this increased pace. And then you look back and you say, well, I thought I was doing enough. So whatever level you feel like is enough, it's probably not. So it's the same thing with starting a social media channel and trying to gain followers and subscribers and to gain an audience. If I make a couple YouTube videos, I make a couple TikToks, why don't I have all these followers? Or why don't I have fans? Why don't I have subscribers? And the answer is it's just not enough content. It's not enough to keep people's attention and to hold them for long enough where they're really invested in this thing, where they want to pay attention to you long term. If it feels like you're really in this for the long run and you're going to keep showing up, then they keep showing up for you. They keep watching. If I was watching a TV show, and this happens all the time on Netflix, okay? They'll release a season and then people watch the season. And if they don't renew it, there goes that show. And you'll be like, I really liked that show. I wish there was another season of that show. I would watch it. But if Netflix doesn't pick it up again and give you more seasons to watch, you're like, well, I give up, or even if it's just a couple episodes, right? There's just not enough content for you to latch onto. When I find a show and I'm like, oh, there's like 3 seasons, I'm like, okay, I'm going to binge watch this. I'm going to watch this for a long time. I'm going to spend a lot of time with this because there's enough for me to really get into this world that they've built. But if there's just a couple episodes, a couple random videos, it just looks like you're just trying it out or you're unsure. And so the audience is also unsure. I'm unsure about watching your videos. I'm unsure about listening to your songs. I'm not convinced because you're not convinced because you didn't really pour enough of yourself into it to see growth, to see something coming from where you started at. So, and we can go back even to nature and the analogy of, if you plant a tree, you plant something in the ground. If you don't keep pouring water into that thing, it's not going to grow. It's not going to grow leaves and flowers and whatever and get taller and then grow even more because you stopped watering it. So, where's the grass greener? The grass is greener where you water it. So, be that your music, be that your content, be that your YouTube channel, it's the same principle. So, just a mindset of you accomplish something and it feels like this feat, and it is, but it's a baby step and there's so many more things that you have to do. So just giving yourself the proper expectations will make you feel better when you are doing something because you won't feel as if you're not doing enough. You'll just have realistic expectations for how much this requires of you to do, so that when you do something, you don't feel bad about it. You're like, yeah, we're making progress. Like making a song is more like hey, that's 10%. Let's get to 100%. So that means 9 more songs to get to that 100%, to get to 10 songs or 10 videos. But if you view one song as 100% of yourself or as job done, job completed, you're always going to feel disappointed or sad when that one thing doesn't have the impact that you expected. So, you setting proper expectations for yourself and how much each thing you do will yield will make you more successful. And it'll make you just have a better feeling about yourself where you don't want to quit. You don't want to give up. And that's what happens to many people is they give the 10% effort, and then when that 10% doesn't give them the 100% expectation, they just want to throw the whole thing out altogether and give up. And that's why quitters quit. Winners win because they don't give up. And so if you're not going to give up that easily, then you're always going to succeed. So having the right expectation, the right mindset is just super important, especially if you're a creative person. It's very easy to get your emotions all tied up in this piece of work that you're making or your art, and then you take it personal. You feel attacked. You feel like it should be this monumental thing. You feel like it should be experienced by so many people, or why don't people love it as much as I love it? And it just requires a certain amount of resilience from you that not everybody has. But that's why there's, millions and millions and millions of people all making music or making videos, and they can't do this, and they're never going to make it. And there's going to be a certain few people who will make it, and you have to be built different. You have to just be different enough to be like, I'm going to be the one. I'm going to be the one who does this. And it doesn't matter if my dad can't do this, my sister can't do this, my brother can't do this, my neighbor can't do this, my friends from high school or college, they can't do this, but I can. And I'm going to. And I've decided that for myself. And so the more you look in the mirror and look at yourself and set these expectations and goals for yourself, rather than viewing things on the basis of what was possible for someone else. It wasn't possible for them, so I guess it's just not possible. That's not true. What's possible for you is what's possible for you. And you have to be the one who decides that. This is your life. Take control of it. This is your music. This is your content. This is your career. You have to take control of it and view this in the way of what's possible for you. And so rather than basing things off of other people's accomplishments and what they've been able to do in the past, or who you know in your immediate circle. So there are many people who have been wildly successful in music, in content, and social media, and maybe you don't know them personally, but that doesn't mean it's not possible. There's a president. There's people who are in the Billboard Hot 100. There's people who do content full-time, who are influencers. This is their full-time job. They don't have a 9 to 5 job. There are people who tour the world, and all these things are possible. So if you view things from the standpoint of what's possible and what has been done within the world on a larger scale versus your local scale or who you know personally, things will be a lot better for you. But take whatever you're doing and multiply it by 3 times, and then by 6 times, and then by 9 times, and then you will gain a lot more success with it, rather than setting the improper expectation for yourself that sets the bar too low. Set the bar high, shoot for the stars, and then you'll end up there somewhere near the stars. But if you set the expectation too low, you're not going to shoot as high as you need to. If you're going 100%, you will probably end up at 50%. But if you just go 15%, you're just going to end up at 5. So that's my advice for right now. I'm Joseph Brooks. I'm a music producer here in LA. I'm a music manager. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe and like and comment. If there's something else you'd love for me to talk about, I'd love to connect with you. And thanks for watching.